Hello everyone, myself Ashita Kaler and I'm a legal intern at Lexis & Company. In this video, I'm going to be sharing information about Memorandum of Articles. So, what is Memorandum of Articles? It is defined under section number 4 of Companies Act 2013. Basically, MOA or Memorandum of Articles is a document under which objects of the company is written, or we can say all the objects in which the company is confined to do, or all the powers of the members, or all the duties responsibility of the members of the company are certainly defined in that memorandum of article. Fundamental conditions of the company when it was being incorporated, all the objects, clause, name of the company, everything is written under the memorandum of articles. Basically, it's if a person wants to know what that company name is, to the thing, what the company do, to the rights of the members, to the duties of the members, a person can read MOA of that company. They will know all the things, that what a company is about and what the power of the members or what the name of the, everything will be written under the document MOA. So what's the purpose of a memorandum of articles? For to make easy for the third person who is getting himself into that business of the company, so he can read MOA and he can get all the information. Suppose a company is issuing shares in the market, and suppose I want to invest a certain company. First of all, I should read a MOA of that company so that I know what I am getting in myself into. I know the purpose of the company, I know the objects of the company, I know the business of the company or the business limits of that company. All these things are defined in MOA. So it's very important for the shareholders to read the business MOA for the company. It will make easy for them that document have all the things they want to know about the company. So there are certain contents of MOA mentioned in Companies Act 2013. First of all, name clause, section 4(1)(a), which this clause under Act is defined as a company should make its name which is not too resembling to the other company. Suppose there is a company which is already named as XYZ, so the other company cannot name its name as XYZ. They should have the other name. It not should be too resembling to the other one or to the other company. Companies include words which are offensive will not be approved by the registration, or the trademark of the company is too resembling to the other company's trademark will also may not be accepted. And there are certain rules for private and public company, that they should name their company as a public company should name its company ending by limited. Private company should end its name by private limited, and one person company should name its company as OPC or one person company. And company word is not compulsory. Suppose if XYZ company is a company, it's not necessary for them to add company word in its name. But if a company's liabilities are not limited, then the company should not use word limited. The other content of MOA is registered office clause, section 4(1)(b). This clause suggests that a company should have a registered office, and that registered office address should be mentioned in MOA. Suppose if a company's registered office is in Gurgaon, so the whole address of the company's registered office should be mentioned in MOA. Company's office can be in whole India, but the registered office address should be mentioned in MOA, and only the registered office address would be considered as the office address of the company. Next content of the MOA is object clause, section 4(1)(c). This clause suggests that a company should write all its objects of the company in the MOA. Suppose a company's object is that they would not go against the law, and they will do business for, suppose, a charitable company, and they will do business only for charity, that they will raise funds and they will invest that funds for the hospitals or for the schools or old age home or welfare for the kids. So the object of all of that company, whether it's business making company, profit making company, or just charitable company, all the object of the company should be written under MOA. and the company should not go against the objects of the company unless it will be considered as ultra vires. This helps the subscription or the shareholders, sorry, not the shareholders, or the person who are interested in the shares of the company, that what they are getting themselves into. Suppose I'm a person and I want to invest a certain company, and if I will read the object of the company, I will get to know that what this company is in business into. Suppose that company is a construction company and it build roads, buildings, etc., etc., and they take orders from government too. So I know that I am investing my money into a company who will do certain business. So it makes easier for the people who wants the subscription of the shares for the company, that they will know themselves that the object of the company they are investing into. One more reason for the objects of the clause is that it will bound that company to work under a certain limit. Suppose the object will define the boundaries of the company, that company can't go beyond that until unless it will be considered as ultra vires. Next content of MOA is liability clause, which is under section 4(1)(d). So the liability clause, basically company is of two types: liability or unlimited. Limited or unlimited. When a company is limited, the company have to pay what they have agreed on to. Suppose the company has agreed that they will pay every month 70,000. So the company have to pay 70,000 to its creditors, or to the person they have lent money to, or to the shareholders. But in unlimited company, the company has to pay what they owe. Suppose a company owe only 1 lakh rupees, so they have to pay according to that only. So the limited companies are of two types: limited by shares or limited by guarantee. All these things should be written under the MOA of a certain company, so that the person who will be investing in the money as a shares into that company will know whether the company is limited or unlimited, limited by shares or limited by guarantee. Next content of MOA is capital clause. Capital clause is defined under section 4(1)(e), which states that the company should clearly mention the capital reserve or capital of that company. MOA, it should be certainly written specifically that share capital of that company, nominal values of shares, or kinds of share, etc., etc. Everything should be written in that clause, capital clause of that company. Content of MOS association or subscription clause. In the section 13(1)(f), it states that every subscriber of the shares should sign the MOA after reading all the clauses or all the contents of the MOA, and they should sign the MOA under one witness, and they should at least subscribe to one share. Minimum share subscription is one share. They should sign and subscribe one share at least. Association or subscriptions clause. Next and the last one is nomination or succession clause, which is defined under section. So the next content of MOA is nomination or succession clause. It's basically for one-person company. When a subscriber, the death of the subscriber, they should nominate, or they should have made a nominee of a person, so that there will not be any conflict. And when it's a one-member person company, there is only one person who have the power. So in case the death of that person, there shall be a nominee for that succession or to hold the power for the company. So that's it for the video. Don't forget to like all these contents of the MOA can be altered by a special resolution passed third, where more than 75% of the members of the company is in favor, and before giving 30 days of notice to the registrar. So that's it for the video. Don't forget to give like, share and subscribe this channel. Thank you.